Hi, myself Chavi and Dr. Payal from IS University will like to take you through the experience while developing the MOOC for student learning guide for Tuning Vision. Since the inception of the Tuning Vision project, we all have been discussing about internationalization, what is internationalization, why it is important and how it can be done. So when after the deliberate discussion yesterday and while we collected and discussed within ourselves that how internationalization can be implemented, we tried to collect some points through which internationalization can be done at our institutions or anywhere in the world. Though this is not a complete list, many more things can be added to this, but a few things which we have added up to our list are credit transfer scheme, Office for International Affairs, dual degree, twinning arrangements, credit transfers, and lot more. The most important thing is the capacity building. We are thankful to ACL, Ivan, Francesca, Anna Maria, Robert, and Alfredo for building our capacity so that we can further help out in the capacity building, being champions from Rishi, and we can help out others also to build their capacity. As capacity building is important to obtain, improve and retain the skills we are having and enhance them in order to train others also. Francesca and Anna yesterday has discussed about the stakeholders and their involvement. So for any organization, it is important to develop all the stages at the individual level, whether it is at institutional or organizational level, or it be a strategic level. There are different types of gaps if we talk about at different levels. In order to cover those gaps, it is important to build the capacity to bridge those gaps skillfully. So learning, training and upskilling can be done at the level of individual level. Mentoring, coaching, training and networking can be done at the institutional or organizational level. And consultancy and workshops can be planned for the strategic or system level. Capacity building can be done with the help of arranging some conferences, workshops, OERs, the very important ones, discussions and visits. Study guides, manuals, documents and workbooks can also be prepared, and the checklist and indicators are always helpful in preparing all these documents and helping out in the building of capacity in the organizations. We are thankful for Tuning Rishi for assigning us this particular assignment, which talked about development of online resources, wherein we thought of developing OERs, which we all know these can be used, reused and adapted and shared in different ways for the benefit of students as well as for our faculty. We looked for many options through which OERs can be talked about. We looked for some videos, some books, some research articles and podcasts on internationalization. We were able to sum up a few over here. While when we looked for MOOCs, there were no such MOOCs on internationalization. So we planned of developing MOOCs. Why MOOCs? Because they are very much beneficial in order to look at the modular structure, self-paced studying, continuity of learning, which you people are doing at like in adult education also. So these books can be very much helpful for covering all the areas in today's study. And the benefit which we had at our university was the audiovisual studio, where we are developing MOOCs for Swayam also. And this was the added benefit with us that the editing team, the animation team, all support was there with the institution. So we planned for developing the MOOC for student learning guide. So I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Payal.
So once we have decided that we will go for a MOOC, then we thought of what topic we should select to prepare the MOOC. So we selected SL3, that is Internationally Open Teaching Learning, from the first Rishi strategic lines. And among the 6 topics that were there in SL3, we selected student learning guide. So we also looked for different skills that are there on the online platforms like Coursera, Swayam, and we could find internationalization related topics like diversity and inclusion and student assessment, OER for empowering teachers, but we couldn't find any MOOC on student learning guide there. So we finalized the topic like that. We did a research gap basically, we finalized according to that. Now, why SLG? Because it is beneficial for the students as well as for the faculty members. For students, it helps in recognizing when, where, why, and how specific strategies can improve their learning. It acts as a document that guides the students, the learning of each module course of students, and it also acts as a checklist for the students of how they need to complete throughout the module or the course. For the faculty members, it acts as a facilitator to gather resources. Again, it acts as a checklist for the faculty members also. It can check on you can check on the pace of the course that you are teaching, and also it helps in redesigning the course. So coming on to the SLG that we have prepared. So what we have prepared is we have 13 modules which have been prepared by the faculty members, the Rishi members as well as the other members of different faculties. So the first two videos talk about the introduction to SLG that has been done by Dr. Rakhi Gupta, and it is followed by the significance of SLG with respect to NEP, which also talks about OBE, that is outcome-based education. Further, I have developed a module on structure of degree programs, followed by Professor Ila Joshi, who has talked about different competencies, generic as well as specific competencies. And then Himangini, Neha Batra, Chavi Jain, the three members that are involved in the Rishi project, they have talked about the structure of SLG. And then we have 5 case studies on different subjects: commerce, computer science, psychology, management, education. We have different case studies for each course they have developed in SLG. So this is the overall view of the modules. Each module has been divided into different videos. Individual videos have, the videos are of 2 to 3 minutes, and they have been recorded, they have been scripted, recorded and produced in our own university with the help of faculty members and the technical staff. And we have uploaded these videos on YouTube as well, and you can see the links here. So this is for 5, 6, 7 and 8 module. Some of these are still in processing. So this is the overall picture. This table shows the overall picture. That is, there are 2 modules and 14 presenters are involved in this. Total number of videos that we will be producing is 59, and videos that have been developed are 36. Still 23 are under process. They have been recorded, but their processing is on. The animation part is left. So these are the screenshots of some of the videos that have been uploaded on the YouTube. And I will show you the introductory video I want to share with you. So I'll be playing that. We never knew what to do, how these videos are produced. We were very naive. But because Chavi is already working and she has prepared a video for Swayam also, so she guided us. a lot. She encouraged us a lot that you should go for it. And then we started with the scripting and then rewriting the scripts and then
editing and then animation.
Yeah, we learned a lot during the journey. And definitely there were some hilarious moments that I again want to show to you. So these are the bloopers of
our videos.
We had a big team, but it was led by Dr. Rakhi Gupta, who was actually the encouragement to behind all this. She who was pushing us, and the others followed. So this is the team. So we have these are the Rishi members as well as other members who have done the case studies. They have also been included here. So these are all the faculty members. They are from various backgrounds, from home science, psychology, computer science, education, biotechnology, management. The instructional design was prepared by Rakhi ma'am and Chavi ma'am, and we had the technical support of our video and animation production team, and they belonged to the journalism, fine arts and computer science department. We also had a student intern, Simran Gena, who helped us in the animation part. So she has completed her internship on this particular project. So I would like to share some of the best practices that we could find in our journey. That was, first of all, it was teamwork. Everybody was working for everybody. So it was all teamwork that both Rishi members and other staff members were involved. And the creation of the MOOC that was in-house, so we are very proud of that we have not taken any help from outside. Except for the guidance and the SLG that was provided by ASIA. And the training that we have got now, we all are prepared that we can prepare more MOOCs and we can apply those MOOCs to different agencies as well. And most important is the accessibility. Because the MOOC is available free online, so everybody can access that, not only the university, IIS University, but the other universities can also take benefit from that. These are our future plans. We want the developed MOOCs. First we have to complete that, then we'll go for quality management of the same as ACL has suggested us, and then we'll be formally going for the online course, and we also plan to prepare more MOOCs on different internationalization concepts, for which I invite everybody, all the other universities, they can also collaborate with us. Thank you.